Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Shadowbringers. In the last episode, we kind of went around and met members of the Slitherbow Knights Blessed community here. Did a little few chores for them, and then ended up getting word about some Sin Eaters that were moving through the woods here. And that was complicating the retrieval of a heartstone for someone who had died in a Sin Eater attack. Apparently the heartstone is some keepsake that everyone receives and is used as part of their funerary, something like that, rites. And so we went out there, dealt with the Sin Eaters, retrieved the stone. It was jade, I believe. And brought it back, and then went through the funeral for the fallen member of the community. And then we got word from Y'shtola that her and Eorzea have completed translation of the Ronkin tablet. And so hopefully they will have some information for us about how to proceed from here, about being able to access the other area here in the Great Wood that is fiercely defended by the tribe that was mentioned. We don't really know much about them just yet, so that we could potentially find the Light Warden and kill it. So, I'll go ahead and talk to Y'shtola here, finish up this quest, and then find out what it is we're doing next. Right. Good, you're here. Thanks to the Exarch's gift, our next course of action is now clear. Good. Could probably have finished that up last episode, but I was afraid I was going to go into a cutscene. Alright. Go ahead and start the next quest. Y'shtola seems quite pleased with herself, but whether she has good or bad news to share remains to be seen. Okay. Let me begin by first explaining the origins of this tablet. I initially believed it might detail the history of the Church of the First Light. Much to my surprise, it dates back to the end of the Ronkin Empire and was likely written under the direction of the reigning ruler. It was a time of strife and unceasing war with neighboring nations. With each passing day, they yielded more and more territory to their enemies. In their desperation, petitions for aid were sent out to their allies. This was one such petition. And you think this ancient petition will somehow help us into Ixmaya? Indeed we do. For etched into this tablet is a method by which one may prove themselves an ally of the Ronkin Empire. Provided we are able to decipher said instructions, we may entreat the ruins protectors to grant us safe passage. The problem, however, is I presently lack the resources to decipher them in their entirety. We have but one recourse. There exists a stone monument inscribed with ancient Ronkin text and translations into a more modern dialect, which came into use after the fall of the Empire. I am confident it will suit our purposes. Where can we find this monument? Here in Sitia, quite close to Slitherbow, in fact. The good news ends there, however, for it is in the possession of a rather radical faction of Dark Worshippers, the Children of the Everlasting Dark. If I am to study the monument, I must infiltrate their encampment. I have no intention of taking longer than absolutely necessary, but I will nevertheless require time to transcribe the text I need. To ensure that I will have enough, I am afraid I must ask you and Thancred to assist me. Alright then. And before you even ask, the answer is no. If we're to remain unseen, our group must be as small as possible. Alright, I'll stay here until you return. We won't be long. If anything should happen, you keep her safe. Alright, then let us convene outside to the west of Slitherbow, where the path diverges. Alright then. And while I did do a bunch of the side quests that were here, it appears that a whole bunch more have opened up. Special memory. There is one of these side quest lines that I do want to do on screen. I found it quite amusing. But we will continue on with the main story for now. I have to figure out which quest line it's actually going to be because I don't remember the names of the quests. Alright, you're still alive. The encampment we seek is to the north, but it would be foolish to simply rush in. A guard has been posted at Cleric to keep watch over the children. Perhaps he has aught to share of their recent activity. We must tread carefully. There's a chance we may encounter them along the way. Stay close and stay alert. I would avoid a confrontation if possible. They rejoice in dealing death to others, claiming that in doing so they cleanse their victims of sin and usher them unto the sunless sea. I would rather not sully my hands defending myself against such madmen. Yep. Alright. Try and bypass this wildlife. Also trying to keep my eyes open for any ether currents that may happen to be nearby. Because any that I can pick up en route are ones I do not have to chase down later. Blessed Watchman. Okay. Bring out the Chocobo. Have an unwelcome guest. Alright, there we are. Help this guy out. By the blessed dark. Alright, thank goodness you are unharmed. We would have arrived sooner, but we too had a rather unwelcome visit from the children. You are an acquaintance of Master Matoya, then? My apologies. The children have been acting strange of late, so I thought to take a closer look. I was careless. Strange? What have you seen? At first, there seemed to be nothing out of the ordinary. The usual gathering of ingredients for poisons from flora and fauna. But then I took notice of their venomous spiders. They've been breeding them in much greater numbers. It's as if they're preparing for something. Any ideas as to what? It could be anything, really. If it meant the end of the Blessed, nothing would be too cruel or violent for them. But perhaps we can use their present preoccupation with spiders to our advantage. If we were to introduce a threat to the nests where they keep them, the children would be compelled to save them. Bees, for example, are a natural predator of spiders. Set them loose on the nests, and we would have our opportunity to sneak into their encampment. What a mischievous plan. I like it. With a bit of smoke, we should be able to subdue a few colonies long enough to secure their hives. Have you anything we might be able to use? We should have smoke bombs at the outpost just over there. Then it's settled. Grab a few smoke bombs from the outpost and search about for beehives. I imagine the bees won't take too kindly to your visit, but once they're knocked out, take the beehives and bring them back here. 2 will suffice, I should think. Alrighty then. Oh, and I see a little swirling moat over there. So go ahead and grab that. Okay. Now to retrieve the smoke bombs and then go harvest some beehives. If it comes in here, I'm gonna have to fight it. Which it did. Alright, there we go. So there should be a beehive over here. There we are. Use a smoke bomb on the beehive. Alright then. Target is not in range. Alright. There we go. Use a large burlap sack to take the bees from the beehive. Okay, use it. Alright then. And let's go find that second beehive and repeat the process. Which is just over there, so not too far. There it is. Alright, bomb it. Oh, 2 of them this time. Alright, and burlap sack. Got it? Okay. And we deliver the buzzing burlap sacks to Custola so that we can pull our little prank Well, the children of the everlasting dark. Alright, there we go. Alright, the guard returned to Slitherbow, but not before offering his thanks. As for the beehives, Thancred and I were successful in acquiring what we need. How did you fare? Well, got them. This is more than enough. The children are certain to be displeased. Let us hurry before the bees begin to stir. Alright. The children's settlement is to the west, a place they call Woven Oath. According to the guard, there is an airway apart from the entrance which leads to the spiders' nests. If the fates are kind, the way will be clear. A beautiful plan, indeed. Alright. Still trying to keep eyes open for ether currents. Alright, well, there's your Stola. Up there is the airway. Do you see it? Indeed. A bit far, perhaps, but we should be able to toss the bag through. Though we should probably loosen the ropes, keeping it closed, enough that it falls open when it lands inside. May I do the honors? That should do it. Now we wait. What is that? Bees! By the abyss, they're everywhere! Help! Someone help! We have to save the spiders! It sounds like our plan is working. Still, it's quite likely not all were drawn away from their posts. If you should come to blows with the children, I'll see to it any signs of struggle are concealed. Failing that, I'll create a distraction to buy you Stola more time. Should anyone get past me, it falls to you to guard her. Very well. Your concern is appreciated, but I sincerely doubt it will come to that. Why do I get the feeling you enjoy the idea of my loafing about bored in the shadows? Come now, Thancred. The shadows are a fitting place for a warrior of darkness. Now, if you both are ready. Alright then. We head into their lair, which I believe is going to be through there. Where is the tunnel? There it is. Later, folks. We're gonna bypass as many of these guys as possible. Okay, so it's a chamber to the north. We're probably gonna have to go through this guy. Alright, there we go. And there's your stola. The font of seeing suggests this is a chamber for prayer. At the very least, they would not place this near potential distractions from their worship. Perhaps the monument is further in. Alright then. We got some murals in here. And there is our monument. Alright. Yes, this is it. I will be but a moment. Keep watch of the entryway. On second thought, would you mind examining the murals on these walls while I look over this? At a glance, I can tell they are old, predating the foundation of the Blessed and the Children, in fact. We're not like to come here a second time. 'Twould behoove us to learn all we can. If you're wondering how she can see the murals, so remember that every crafted item in this game is done with the manipulation of ether. So, every thing that is crafted by someone, including, say, paint or pigment, is infused with ether. So she can see it. Alright. Examine the murals and take note of what events they may depict. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Okay, yeah. Alright, let's start with this one. The mural appears to be ancient. A warrior in the middle stands triumphant over what appears to be a creature of shadow. Other figures surround the warrior, rejoicing in their victory. Okay. The mural appears to be very old. A ruler sits atop a throne, attended by their subjects. Alright. And then this one over here. The mural appears to be fairly old. A knight shields himself and their comrades from an encroaching darkness. The central figure is considerably faded.
These paintings, they seem familiar. Depictions of heroes throughout history. The Age of Gods, the Empire of Ronka, and this. There was a man, a researcher who pored over these pieces. He offered us work when we needed it. Slaying beasts, delivering provisions. A funny old bugger he was. But he had a good heart. He believed this first painting dated back to a time of myth and legends. A tribute to the heroes of a long-forgotten era. The story went that it was rediscovered by an explorer from Ronka, who was so struck by its majesty that a second painting was commissioned, commemorating the heroes of their day. One day you will all be here too, he said. Heroes immortalized forever. Maybe I'll paint you myself? I had a good laugh at that. We were only trying to make our way after all. Being heroes couldn't have been further from our minds. But it seems he actually went and did it. Before or after the flood, I wonder. Rather faded, isn't it, compared to the others? Or did someone try to scrape it off the wall? Well, maybe the man himself once he came to his senses. Do you suppose your deeds will warrant an addition to this collection? Or some other kind of monument?
There you are. I have everything I need. Let us quit this place. Is something the matter? We should go. The others are waiting.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk to Yustola. Looks like she got what she needs. I believe I now have everything needed to finish deciphering the tablet. All right. Tell me, Ayame, did the murals appear to be of any significance? Yes, they did. Depictions of heroes from the Age of Gods, the Ronkan Empire, and immediately before the Flood. Very astute observations. Perhaps in a lifetime you could be a curator of antiquities. Though it has no bearing on the task at hand, perhaps that knowledge may prove to be of use in the future. Perhaps. Alright. Next. Alright, let's hurry to Slitherbow. The others are waiting. After we've returned, the two of you should rest a while. No doubt Runar will be eager to have you sample his cooking. As soon as I discover anything of import, you will be the first to know. Very well. Alright, we're heading back to Slitherbow, right? We can just teleport. Yeah, just teleport over. There we go. Alright, so... let's go ahead and talk to Runar here. Ayame, the guard told me you left with Master Matoya to Woven Oath. And no sooner did you return than she locks herself away in her chambers without so much as a word. She knows how I worry when she leaves without telling me. But she is safe, and that is all that matters. You must be hungry after such a journey. Why not have a seat there by the fire? The stew will soon be ready. Alright then, let's have a seat by the fire.
Strange. The others on patrol should have returned by now. Our food will be overcooked if we wait any longer. We will just have to start without them. Would you call Master Matoya and the others?
I tire of these games, Eorzea. Why do you pretend you cannot see it? The blessing may spare her the fate of becoming a Light Warden. But you cannot be blind to the nascent corruption. She is not as she was in the Source. Though I have no proof, I fear that the light which poured forth from the Wardens was not negated at all. I fear it was absorbed, that she has been suffused with their light.
Though I have given thought to this possibility, I dare not speak until more is known.
By the time you deign to enlighten us, it may be too late, if it is not already. Eorzea, I know full well, after all these years, that you have only the best of intentions. But that does not make it any easier to put my faith in a man so infatuated with secrecy. I have had my suspicions ever since the Exarch bade you speak that day. But now I must ask. The 8th Umbral Calamity and all that followed. Everything you claim to have seen. Did you?
Help! Someone help! The Ilmorans have come for us! We're under attack!
Meanwhile, in Yulemoor.
Lord Vorthry, how good it is to see you. How long has it been? Not since your inauguration, unless I'm mistaken. Too long, at any rate. May I say how humbled I am to be invited not only into your city, but your home. You are as generous as ever.
And you as disingenuous. Let us dispense with the pleasantries. This merry band of dissidents people are calling Warriors of Darkness. They have slain Sin-Eaters, and by all accounts the Crystarium is complicit in their villainy. And now I hear reports of your people obstructing my soldiers, so I must ask, what exactly do you think you are doing?
I might ask you the same thing. It should be clear, even to you, that defeating the Light Wardens represents the world's only hope of survival. Even now, the people of Lakeland and Ilmeg rejoice in the return of night. For 100 years, they yearned for a means to fight back against the Sin-Eaters, and at last they have found one. Yet you choose to stand idly by and do nothing.
Why? Because this hope you cling to is nothing more than a fever dream, an exercise in futility. Even should you slay the Sin-Eaters, the world as we know it is beyond salvation. With what little land and resources remain, the people would be free only to starve. Before long, they would turn to violence, then to war, and ultimately usher themselves unto oblivion. They require a firm hand to shepherd them from the edge. The hand of a king. Nay, a god. I will see their dreams fulfilled, their wishes granted, I will give them peace, order, and they shall never want for bliss. Men are fickle creatures who entertain vague ideals without the faintest notion what they cost. But a little fear can go a long way towards helping them realize what it is they truly need. Sanctuary. And they shall find none in this world save that which I afford them. That is why the Sin Eaters exist. To unite the world under my dominion.
A paradise fit to grace the 8th Umbral era.
What was that?
A minor epiphany, nothing more. You have always held sway over those around you. Those who defy you must submit or die. What sits before me is the inevitable result of bloated privilege and unchecked power. But man is more resilient than you think. His achievements are not the product of violence and bloodshed, but compassion and understanding. This calamity is but another crisis to be overcome. And we will, once we eliminate the Sin Eaters.
You poor deluded fool. These people care not for the morrow. They care only for the now, and the contentment they lack. What good is a paradise to them if it is 1,000 years in the making, or even 100?
You underestimate them, Lord Forthry. They see further than you think. I have beheld it in the blood and sweat and tears of those who would sacrifice everything for a future they may never know, that their children may never know. I have beheld it in the hopes and dreams of those who came before, which we bequeath to those who come after, that they might in turn build upon the foundations laid by our forebears. These are the bonds which hold man and his world together, not your gilded chains, and I will resist your every effort to shackle him.
In summary, you will continue to support the villains hunting my Sin Eaters?
With tremendous enthusiasm, for I have faith in the future they would build.
Oh, why do I even bother? Fools, the lot of you! So naive! So painfully predictable! Did you imagine I did not know your mind? That I would wait until after this meeting to dispatch my forces? Even as we speak, they march to the Sin Eaters' defense. Insurrection will not be tolerated! The people of this world are mine to rule, mine to command. And you are no exception! What? How did he... Insolent swine! I will not stand for this! Do you hear me?
You speak for the Knights Blessed?
I do. I presume that is your doing. If you have come to parley, I must insist that you first return him to us.
You're in no position to make demands.
By Lord Vorthry's decree, Raktika now falls under the governance of Yulmore. You will henceforth answer to us.
Is that so? And the children of the Everlasting Dark have acquiesced to this madness?
We have reached an accord, yes. Too many times have the Knights Blessed shunned Yulmore's overtures of friendship. The risk that you harbor hostile intentions has grown too great to ignore. Therefore, his lordship has claimed dominion over this forest and bestowed executive authority upon the children of the Everlasting Dark.
In his wisdom, Lord Vorthry has agreed to recognize ours as the only permissible expression of dark worship. It's one true faith. You and your false creed are a blight on these woods. A foul, unholy corruption that must be cleansed. Little wonder the Warrior of Darkness visits both Lakeland and Ilmeg, yet shuns Raktika. Your perverted teachings hold blessed Shadow at bay.
You have accepted the yoke of Yulmore to spite us, then? Fools. Darkness will never return to these skies while they hold sway.
Those of you minded to obey his lordship are to make for Woven Oath with all haste. We will leave you, that you may have time to prepare.
Woven Oath? Are you suggesting we abandon our faith to join those zealots?
What has your faith afforded you thus far? Nothing! We will guide you along the righteous path.
And should we refuse?
Anyone found here upon our return will be considered a traitor to Yulmore, and dealt with as such.
We will discuss these developments after I have tended to our casualty.
All right, then. That's a whole bunch of information there. But, long and short, is Yulmore is up to its old antics. And so we have to figure out what we're going to do. Hopefully we can figure out how to prove ourselves an ally of Ronka, gain access to Yixmaya, track down the Light Warden and destroy it before Yulmore's army gets too crazy. And apparently there's some questions about this whole process of destroying the Light Wardens. Apparently we are just absorbing the energy, not eliminating it. And Y'shtola is apparently doubting Eorzea story about the whole 8th Umbral Calamity thing. So, we'll see what comes of that. Alright, but we are at the end of the episode. So, for now, we will stop here. Actually, let me go ahead and just talk to Eorzea. Let's hope that this is just the end of this quest. Alright, the guard hath been afflicted with a most terrible and efficacious poison. We have attempted all manner of healing incantations. Alas, his condition remains unchanged. At present, we can but slow the poison's advance. I pray it will afford us sufficient time to find a cure. Alright, there we go. So, with that, we will pick up with the next phase of this quest when we come back for next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.